Chatbase is a bootstrap platform for building and deploying AI support agents, strongly built in public, currently at 7 million ARR. And that's already pretty interesting. But what made it even more interesting is that ChatGPT is already their second biggest user acquisition channel. So, my goal today is to find out how they pulled this off. That's why I'm excited to have Sandra Đajic on the show today. Sandra is Senior Marketing and Growth Lead at Chatbase, and her mission is to scale Chatbase beyond a million in MRR, so 10 million plus in ARR. She's very vocal on LinkedIn about the startup hustle, marketing, and of course, all things AI. So, welcome to the podcast, Sandra.
Thank you so much. This was very nice intro. I would put it in like top 5 probably.
Nice. Glad to hear.
Yeah.
Let's start a little bit personal, like with your journey. How did you end up at Chatbase?
So it's a funny story as always in life. Yasser started Chatbase somewhere in the same time. I started working for another startup, and we both in the same time were implementing AI into our products. So I was quite aware who Yasser was at that time and what Chatbase is. And sometime last year, maybe a year ago, something like that, I actually invited Yasser to my own podcast because I have my own podcast next to that. And then he was more than willing to come. And then we had a lovely conversation and he shared a bunch of stuff and how he's growing Chatbase and direction where Chatbase is going. And I love the idea. I love the team. And somehow just we found ourselves having this conversation of me jumping in Chatbase and growing it with the team. So yeah.
Awesome. Let's do a little cross promo then. What's the name of your podcast and what are you talking about there?
It's called Morning Maker Show. We started around 2.5 years ago. We are pretty much talking about founders, SaaS companies, AI, amazing people building in public, amazing companies that are being formed with actually this movement of building in public. And now at the moment, we are also talking about no-code tools, AI building, having people like me actually building products. So not someone who is technically aware of a bunch of different things, but someone with the ideas and ability, or at least wish to build something. So yeah.
Let's go into the building in public thing real quick because I see both sides. So I see people that are very cautious about it and like really fear their ideas and strategies get stolen. And then I see people like you or Yassar also from Chatbase, and you are sharing pretty much everything. So a lot. What
Mhm.
is like your reasoning behind sharing so much? Like, don't you fear someone stealing your secret sauce?
Um, I think build in public movement started with people that had 9 to 5 jobs and they were doing something on the side after work. And that's when I actually joined that community. Um, in the past year or more, we see that switch where more and more people are actually deciding to build their products in public. And these people could be VC funded startups or bootstrapped companies as Chatbase is. And I think it's much better like that because you have ability to share the product, but immediately get the feedback from the user you are actually targeting. To answer your question, if I'm afraid of sharing a bunch of stuff, to be honest, I'm not. It's very, very hard to replicate. First of all, like humans who we are on socials and what we bring to the table and how we form the community and the way of our communication to the audience and our users. That's extremely hard. So I can tell that like that type of the strategy would be called, building a community or marketing in the community and etc. And when I say that, you get nothing. But it means actually you doing the job. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not scared of anyone replicating what we are doing or how we are approaching marketing. I think ChatGPT probably can write you a better marketing strategy than I can. It's just this part of doing the job is what it matters. So I highly recommend everyone that are building startups or building products to share and build in public. I think Yasser's story is very important and motivated pretty much because this is how he started. Like on X at that time when he was building Chatbase, he had like 16 followers. And he said that most of them were just like friends. And then he shared one tweet and it went viral and it grew now in like this big company. So, and next to this viral moment you get, if you get it, the most important part is that you are forming a community around yourself that is like tracking your journey and supporting you. And in the same time, you are teaching them about your product, which means that even if they don't need the product, they might suggest your product to someone that needs it. So it's a really nice moment, and I highly recommend like involving yourself into it if you are planning to build products.
And is there anything you would recommend founders not to share? So, like revenue numbers, profit numbers, any exception from what is suitable to sharing with the build in public movement?
I mean, if the numbers are real and honest and you've made a huge milestones, there's nothing stopping you to share that success. And I think if you're surrounded with right community, it will be welcomed greatly. So, there are probably things you might consider not to share. But if it's coming, from like teaching moment to others or sharing your small victories or even big victories, I don't see the problem in that. Next to that, I've spoken with a friend who is leading a marketing agency, and she got a big client that are building things in stealth, or how it's called. So it's a totally different and opposite way. And she, as a marketer, has a problem on how to approach now this product and how to bring it to the market because the founders are so secretive about it and scared. But at some point, they will have to go to the market. And you don't want to spend months and months on building the product and don't have an audience or customers to sell them. So that's kind of like my approach when I'm talking with founders. And the best part is that if you are building in public and you don't want to share your product or idea, there is a still way to build your own personality in there. So once you are ready, you have some kind of like first step already done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I also once had a request from a client that said, "So we need your help in marketing, but we want to like not show anything on the website or something." And then I said, "Hey guys, marketing, I think is not the right thing for you. You will probably do like an outbound sales motion."
Yeah,
But I couldn't wrap my head around it.
yeah.
So you're not only vocal around the whole built in public thing on LinkedIn, you're sometimes even a little bit controversial and like uh, challenging some people. One post, for example, of you started with "most marketers are frauds." um, I don't know if you chose this hook to instill a positive discussion, but what I'm interested in is what are you seeing or what is like your reasoning behind these posts? So what fuels these posts?
Um, why I wrote that post? It's probably, I kind of, I wanted to say that because it is true, especially now in this era where everyone is promising too much. It's very hard to get to that exact thing you need. What I'm trying to say is that we are building workflows and we are building automations and implementing AI in our own work. And I'm doing that as well. But if we are not showing exactly how we are doing or the end results, it might come across as fake. And that goes also when we are talking about marketers, that goes also into the product. So if you are over promising, you will probably get a bunch of people on your website, but the churn is going to happen at some point. So being a marketer today, when we have like millions of product and millions of possibility to build a product, you really need to be real with your audience, with your customers, what you are doing and how you are building the product for them, but also how they can use the product. So that's maybe why I wrote that. But
Yeah, makes sense. Let's look at the Chatbase journey a little bit more. So you are obviously very transparent about the current state of the company. So 7 million ARR, at least from your LinkedIn
mm.
profile. What was the number, or what was like the stage when you joined?
So I've joined in December. I'm not sure at what point. I think maybe it was 5 million or something. I have to
Mm-hmm.
check that. Not sure. But we grew at the beginning of the year. I think it was like 25% growth, very
Mm.
fast. But multiple different things happen at that point. So we went from being AI chatbot to full AI agent. And then we switched our communication as well, and then the landing page. And then, it goes through every single channel, marketing channel we use at Chatbase. So multiple different things happen in the same time. So the growth was very fast, I would say. And we are kind of continuing with that because I think the reason for that is the team, or like Chat-based team, is very tech focused. So there's only 2 people in marketing, and we are very feature based, product based, follow customers, what they are saying, building that. And then there's marketing that is just trying to keep up with everything. So
So would you say that this product focus or product centricity brought you to the scale you're at today?
oh, for sure. For sure. I think why Chatbase, or at least what I've heard from our enterprise, even enterprise companies, is that Chatbase is easy to implement. And that's like one of the things that I love to hear, because we have competitors that have been on the market for the past, 10 years. And the concept itself is not new, but the tech is. And that means that Chatbase is being able to implement this technology that we have currently today into this market, or traditional market, that has been around for ages, but it's overcomplicated and very hard. So when I hear that our customers are saying, oh, this was very fast to implement and we didn't have any trouble, that gives me a good hint that we are actually building a product for even traditional businesses that are not used to this today technology. So yeah, being product focused, I think that's the most important thing in Chatbase.
And now you obviously have very ambitious goals and you want to, like, more or less double MRR or ARR,
Yeah,
so both same. What will get you there? What will be like the growth drivers for the next stage?
yeah. So when it comes to marketing, we are doing a very traditional stuff everyone in SaaS world is doing. So that means paid ads done, SEO, very nice. But what we are also implementing, or we spoke at least when we were preparing for this interview, is also like expanding or growing in the AI search. And then there is, of course, employer branding, which I think is super, super important. We already do that in Chatbase. We need to scale that even more. We see that employer branding going in younger AI SaaS companies like Lovable and Versal and etc. So that's like, I think that's also one of the approaches. And then of course you have like things that we call like marketing strategies, fast track, putting billboards, working with influencers, forming ambassadors, so people that are actually digging into the product, using product every day, and then talking about it very naturally. And so yeah.
Yeah, then let's tap into the AI search thing real quick, because as I said in the intro, it's already your second biggest user acquisition channel,
Mm.
which is quite astonishing. From your perspective, what do you think has caused this? Like, what did you get right so this has worked out as it's currently working out?
I think for Chatbase, so usually people expect some very glamorous answer, and it's not. It might be even a little bit boring. It's just doing a proper SEO, backlinks, domain ratings, blah, 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 all those stuff that SEO includes. And then working, I mentioned influencers, but working with written content influencers as well. Also, the same way you are approaching Google search, you need to approach AI search as well. So you are typing keywords, you're seeing what's coming out. If you're not mentioned there, reaching out to those people to mention Chatbase and etc. So whatever you're doing in SEO and how you're preparing SEO, the same kind of mentality goes into preparing AI search. And then once you have those technicalities right, caring about the content, I think, is what's working the best, which means like our documentation, our docs needs to be updated, our changelog needs to be updated, our blog is not only SEO related, but it's also more like product based, what's changing, why, and use cases. So you have this whole concept around your product, and then it works. There's no, I would say, like, I think there is no magic trick, but it's actual work you put in your SEO that might work in AI search.
So unfortunately, no get rich quick scheme, but
Or get
just
fixing,
hard
yeah,
work again.
hard
Cool.
work, yeah.
I could imagine some people wondering, because you said caring about your documentation, caring about the change log. They
Mhm.
might wonder, hey, but how is like the change log and the documentation connected to SEO or to AI search? Like, this is something that is completely unrelated, isn't it? So what would you say to
So
those?
whenever we, like, you have to understand like how the content works. The content itself doesn't only stay on the website. And when it doesn't only stay on the website, it has a certain authority that it brings. So changelog is shared on LinkedIn, it's shared on X, it's shared on our newsletter. So there is this whole concept around the content that is spread. When it comes to like especially documentation is really, really important. And then when it comes to the blogs, we are doing the same thing. It's like, it's not staying on the website, but it's also shared on Reddit, wherever the discussion is made about Chatbase, that these blogs can have certain influence as well.
Hmm.
So, and then the content, when we are talking about the content, changelog, blog, documentation, blah, blah, there is also written content that is happening on Reddit. There is also written content that is happening on LinkedIn. So when we are talking about AI search, the AI search concept, it's not only showing your website or like the websites in general, but it's also pulling the data from the different sources. So you need to be like kind of present there. But what is really important is to know your story. So what your product is about, and to be able to repeat that in like understandable way. So chat-based building AI agents for customer support is very clear. And we cannot be mixed with, any AI agent, because building an AI agent can be for like coding and websites and many different stuff. So you need to be very clear in order to like pop out somewhere. The
Hmm.
same way you are approaching your SEO, it's pretty much translating into AI search.
Can you explain why it's so important to have this consistency in the naming? So why does it matter that I always say the same thing, like Chatbase helps companies build AI agents for customer support? And why can't I say sometimes Chatbase is an AI platform that helps Shopify shops
But
serve customer requests?
you can. So the brilliant thing about AI is it can recognize, it's not the search by the keywords, but it also can recognize what you're trying to say. So the concept around your product needs to be in the niche, that maybe that would be a correct way. So Shopify, customer support, helping companies and etc. it is, or building an AI agent, it's the same story. It's just written differently, but you have the niche and the direction that you are approaching your presence online.
Makes sense. Let's take a closer look at the, like, I would say, intersection of product and marketing, because we already talked a little bit about the product and the product's centricity at Chatbase, and we talked a little bit about marketing. So you guys have also a free plan at Chatbase that, yeah, probably at this point we can already recommend people, if you want to learn more about Chatbase, just go to the description and check it out. There's a lot of talk about free plan. You shouldn't do a free plan. You should only do a free trial. You shouldn't even do a free trial because you're not attracting high value users. What is the why you have behind having a free plan?
Yeah, there is a lot of discussion about like free plan, and especially in building public community when you have a solo founder, and in the age where you are using AI, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you are spending credit, you are spending money, and etc. For the company that, or at least for the companies like Chatbase that are SaaS companies, you need to have an entering point. Like in Chatbase, we have 4 different plans. And our free plan and our hobby plan are the plans that are both entering point when I'm looking at the data. My kind of like thinking why we have free plan is because with the right limitation, a user can experience the product in a right way without us losing money. So that means that if you take a look at the Chat-based pricing, you will see that we have free plan next to hobby plan, but then we have standard plan or pro plan next to enterprise plan. Pro plan is pretty much an entering point also for enterprise plan, even though it's paid plan. But there are right limitations that enterprise companies can also experience and upgrade. And the same kind of logic goes into free and a hobby plan, and kind of like if you take a look this whole funnel of pricing and upgrading, would I suggest everyone to have free plan? Well, I would probably be careful with saying that, because if you are a solo founder or you have a really small team or you are not VC backed but you have a good traction, easy to understand product, no need to have multiple people coming together and working on the product, maybe it will make sense because you don't want to burn money essentially that you don't still have. But for us at this stage, especially if you are scaling, having that free entering point that users can grow with the right limitation makes sense for me. At least for now, yeah, that's kind of like, there is a lot of like usage limits, and there are multiple different things we have to take a look at when you're forming pricing, which is very hard. But yeah.
Obvious follow-up question: what are the right limitations? So if I have like a tool, maybe not even similar to Chatbase, and I have a free plan or I want to have a free plan, how do I know where I draw the line between this is still free and for this you have to pay?
There are probably people much better to dig into pricing of SaaS products than me, but I do love digging into analytics and understanding why people are churning. So if you take a look at the funnel, it's much easier for me to determine. So what that means? Let's say I'm looking at the churn users. And especially, not even churn, let's say if we are looking at the free users, and they're kind of like usage, you can clearly see if they're gonna continue or probably leave Chatbase and not upgrade. That means you have to give them a little something that they can experience. In our case, it's like an AI agent, an action that they can do with that AI agent, an integration that they can do. So, or even how many websites or PDF files they can process in order to teach that AI agent. So you can't give them too much, but you can't give people too little for them to not experience the product. So I don't have the answer to your question. It really, really depends on the product. And forming a pricing, I think, is one of the hardest thing. Just looking at the previous startups I've been, that step, it's always like changing and experimenting as well as you grow. So yes, that's kind of like my logic behind it. But with my advice would be to have a right tools, at least, that you can measure and see the customer's kind of like journey and where they are churning and how, even if you're looking at the free plan. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
But do you think the free plan has helped you, for example, to get to this point where you have
Yes.
so much user acquisition, for example, from AI
Yes.
search?
I think so. I think so. Um, and especially if you take a look at our market, we have a lot of competitors. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of like companies that have been on the market for ages. And if you have a good enough product that is easy to use and see the like that wow moment or fast, then absolutely. And I think the free pricing was very big for Chatbase. I mean, it's a software as a service, so it's kind of like the logic goes there as well.
Chatbase is getting, or AI search is number one user acquisition channel for Chatbase. There are also other companies that are already getting a lot of users from it, like Webflow or Surfer, so also well-known SaaS companies. Where do you see this going? So, can you imagine that AI search will become your primary acquisition channel? So, do you see like even more growth potential there, or do you think like it will stay at the current level?
So again, so AI search is only where it is because of all the other stuff that we are doing. And that means, organic reach, socials, and then paid ads, and then SEO. So there is a whole army behind this AI search. So if these things that are behind AI search go down, the AI search will do the same pretty much. So it's very equal. It might kind of like take the other channels. I don't know. We'll see. But I can say that at least we know which channels are working and influencing the AI search. And my focus is not on AI search, it's everything behind the AI search that are happening because of that. So all the other channels that are doing, I would say you need to kind of like, again, look at the data analytics you have, see what is working, and then that will influence the AI search. So it's hard to determine and say in which direction we'll go. We only know the channels that are working and influencing this chapter. So
Then
yeah.
let's move on maybe from AI as a channel to something that I know you're also really passionate about, which is AI as a tool for us marketers.
Mm.
Can you give us a quick view behind the scenes? What are your favorite AI use cases as a marketing lead?
Oh my God, we have like marketing is such a wide space. We have so many things happening all the time. And I think we finally, before you had to like either talk with the tech team and then be like, oh, I need this and I need that. Where today it's very easy to understand the pain points and like understand your workflow and then be like, okay, I need to fix this part. A few months ago, we were also, as I mentioned, running paid ads. And I was like, okay, every week I do the same thing and it takes so much time. Look at the competitors, look at their copies, look at their images. And then, you take a look at all of that. And then you take a look from Facebook and LinkedIn and Google search and etc. So I was like, okay, can I just pull this data information? Do they have like public libraries, and which of these channels have public libraries? And I can just pull the data information in one space and then let AI do the magic and then just compare that to Chatbase copy, and that's it. So I did that. And I did that with Lovable. I love to use Lovable. Maybe even V0 from Vercel. is very good product to use. And then, you have Supabase to connect all of these stuffs, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting these days.
So one use case is like scraping data and then
Scraping data, then of course, like putting content together. I mean, just like I have all the content I'm sharing pretty much on LinkedIn, and then based on that, I'm putting more and more content. Content is a big thing, I think, for me at least. Paid ads, SEO as well. We built a tool. This was with V0. We built a tool that also pulls the blog articles based on keywords and summarize them as well. That was interesting. So there is, bunch of stuff that you can, as a marketer, do these days. The only problem marketers have is that we still don't know how to push it to public. So everything kind of stays behind the closed doors.
Yeah, okay, we are trying to at least contribute to bringing it more to public.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, have you been excited about AI just from the get-go? So when ChatGPT launched, because I heard even from some people that are very deep into AI and very passionate now that at first they were a little bit skeptical and also a little bit worried, will it take my job, etc. And I tried to understand the mindset better of people that are like now building and pushing things forward. So have you been excited from the get-go, or were you also a little bit worried?
I think the moment ChatGPT put their pricing out, I've been paying for it. So it's been like I gave them a bunch of money. It's been like 2.5 years now. So no, the worries. I was never worried about losing job to AI or something like that. I think AI is a great companion for every person. For me, it has like a big role in my workflows. But that creative level, human level, that type of the communication, this what we are doing right now, AI will never replace. I mean, never. At least in the next 5 years, I hope we are safe. But the human touch, it's still a human touch, especially in marketing. Like some lines, only a customer that really feels the pain and a marketer that is scanning that can understand. But I would probably be more scared for people that are not using AI. And they don't have a use case for it, or didn't find a use case for it. So from the beginning, I was on top of it, even like checking the grammar, and you kind of grow from checking the grammar. But that were my first steps, and now we've reached the point where not all the problems, but smaller problems like annoying things in your workflow can be fixed with AI, and that's a huge step. And that only happened 7 or 8 months ago. When we take a look at Lovable, it launched in November, and then V0, and you kind of like, I'm mentioning these products because they are widely kind of known for exactly what they are doing, building stuff for people that are not technical or giving ability to others to build. So I don't think no one is no one still will be replaced, even from like AI space or marketers, but it's just interesting to adopt this technology.
And if you could wish for one thing that AI cannot do yet, but that would be really helpful for you, what would it be?
Oh my God, what a big question. Let me think. I think there is still we have like our Slacks, and then there's Gmail, and then there's email, and then there's Instagram, and then there are like weird apps you have on your phone. Not everything is connected. Most of the things are still not connected. So it would be nice to have this ability to implement AI through all of that. So you can see in which level I am. I'm ready to give it all. So maybe that's something that I'm missing at the moment. But probably we are getting into that direction. I can see that with Chatbase, even like we have a bunch of different integrations, but we are a business that is serving other businesses, so our integrations are based on that businesses. So we are implementing AI into their own environments, and that's something that would be interesting for me to have it personally on like the devices that I'm using at least.
So basically, a more neat and more seamless version of the whole MCP integration behind the scenes idea where you can ask your phone, hey, do I have time on the weekend to go to this party? And if yes, can you please reply on WhatsApp in this group with my
Yes, that's
friends that
yes,
I will come?
a real ecosystem,
Mhm.
of like AI doing multiple different things or understanding at least.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's surprising, right? Because I feel like this would be what you would expect from Apple. Like
yeah,
that they would have it integrated in the iPhone, but then we are
right.
still at this stage where Siri is still Siri and not really like
Yeah,
getting
Siri is
smarter.
still keeping up with my not calendar, sorry, alarm. So Siri
Mm.
put alarm for this or that. That's about it. And even when you say to Siri to search something, it only gives you results from Safari. So it doesn't even read or mention or do anything with it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe that's the job on them to actually build this ecosystem because they already have it. I'm not sure like why. And I didn't dig deeper into what's stopping them to actually improving their AI.
Yeah, let's see if we will see a new smartphone company
Yeah,
suddenly popping up, like with the AI phone, which is like it's funny because it's the iPhone and then it's the AI phone. So
yeah.
we'll see. But coming back to Chatbase, what do you think? Like, how big can Chatbase become? So, will this be something where you are just scratching the surface now? Because a lot of businesses don't even know yet what's
Mm,
possible in the customer support space, and this can be 100 million ARR company. Can
mm.
you share something about your vision for that?
I can tell you that Yasser is definite. He really wants to build a legacy company. So we are aiming really high, and we are working really hard for that. I think there is possibility of reaching those levels, and you have to understand that he built a company that is quite big already, being bootstrapped, which is not easy, and I feel like he will be or capable to build a legacy company from Chatbase. So I'm here for the journey. I'm here to support.
I'm also
But
here for the journey,
yeah,
and very interesting to see where this goes. I always like to make this podcast very actionable for people so that they ideally can take something with them and start implementing immediately. And like with the whole built in public idea, I'd like to do a quick thought experiment with you. So imagine you were advising another B2B SaaS company, probably not in the AI agent customer support space, and they are doing, let's say, around 5 million ARR, maybe also bootstrapped, so similar setting, a little bit smaller than Chatbase, and they're still figuring out their marketing strategy, and they still like don't really know where to double down. What would be your top three or top two or three actionable pieces of advice for them?
mm. Three channels you need. Those are like paid. If you're on that level, you can already have like paid ads, SEO working properly. And the third channel is the experimental channel, and it's very social media based. So we are talking about LinkedIn and X. You need to find two or three people in your own company that are willing to grow there and become like niche and experts, and bring the company with them. So that those are like three things that you can do right now, pretty much. Very simple as well. If you don't have a knowledge about paid ads, you probably have enough money to work with an agency that will do the job for you. The same goes with SEO. If you don't have a right setup, you will probably lose more money if you try to do it yourself. So investing money in that is great, and then choosing the right people to kind of be like ambassadors, influencers, and employees in your company and grow with the company.
Hmm. Great, great,
And all
great
of
triangle. Mm.
and all of these things, as I mentioned, will influence this growth of AI search. Like AI search, you cannot concentrate and be like, it's the first thing on to-do list. Like I'm gonna become the AI search will be the first channel for our company. It's not gonna happen, because there are so many layers to that you need to work on in order to get there.
Hmm. And based on the idea of ambassadors or partners, how do you feel about affiliate programs? Like it's something that companies have done since forever,
Mm.
but is it still something that is relevant as of today?
We haven't done like we don't have like I think active affiliate program. I think they had it before, not right now. We are more leaning to ambassadors, the people that are using and talking about the product and being like our own marketers in the space. So I would rather lean to people or build a community of ambassadors than affiliate programs, and etc. But
Makes a lot of sense. I also know a German B2B SaaS company that is bootstrapped. They are in the whole funnel building, landing page building space, and they also recently launched a ambassador program, basically with the same reasoning
mm,
you have. So I feel this makes a lot of sense to just get the word out and get it spread across a big variety of channels, which will obviously be beneficial for AI search. Um, cool. Already a lot of great insights.
mm. Just to
I
add to that, sorry to interrupt
of
you,
course.
but influencer marketing, like maybe people will mix ambassadors and influencers, but influencer marketing is also very much changing. You can work with influencers that are really big and they have like millions followers, but those millions followers were formed in the span of like 5 to more years. And how relevant are they today for this technology is very hard to say. So that's why ambassadors are much better approach as well compared to the influencers. If you are, this is just advice. I'm just like spiraling down. But if you are working with influencers, I would rather like my advice would be to go with smaller, new influencers that are like just popping out, and they are also could become ambassadors at some point. But giving them ability to talk about your product and also grow, it kind of builds better partnerships as well with them. So that's just putting on the side. But
Okay, then let's go one level deeper again, because I feel it's really interesting. If people think yes, ambassador, influencer makes total sense, how do you compensate them properly? Do you pay them per post? Do you compensate them with like merch, like free usage of the tool?
we
What's the
do
best way?
all pay the ambassador, like our ambassadors are all paid. So we have like very clear pricing. I think you can find it everywhere on Chatbase, but very clear pricing. And when we published our ambassador program, it went very viral. I think and the reason was the pricing, and many people actually said that they didn't expect, because they are so used to ambassadors being paid in like discounts. So here's the product, here's the discount, here's the merch, or because it's not an influencer program, it's an ambassador, so it's very mixed. I think like in today's age, everything needs to be paid fairly, and you can build really good ambassador programs and still have like a good value for what ambassador brings in. And the best part, you can choose these people. So I think for our ambassador program, like there was like 4,000 people that applied. It was a lot. And you can choose the right people and kind of work with them and build partnerships with them. It doesn't have to be 100 of them. Like it can be 3 or 5 that are really good. So
Wow, crazy.
yeah.
4,000 applications, and then you boiled it down to 3, 4
Yeah,
people.
it took like 2 weeks to figure out how to. Yeah.
Crazy. Sandra was already very, very insightful. I always like to wrap up the interviews with a surprise question that I also don't spoiler. Yeah, no worries. Because the question has always brought up cool, unexpected ideas. So I also like to ask it to you, which is, what haven't we talked about that we should have talked about? So what did we miss?
Oh, no idea. um, mm, mm. I think we talked about a lot about founders, and but we didn't talk about people actually working for these founders. And that, so if you are working in a company, bootstrap company, VC back company, enterprise company, um, get yourself into this AI madness, educate yourself about it, find the ways to implement it in your own workflows. You will be a very valuable key player in your company. I can promise you that. Don't be afraid of, if someone from customer support or sales or marketing or tech is listening to this, it doesn't matter anymore in which department you are. You will probably find a use case that you can bring to your team and kind of like improve their work as well as yours. And, so yeah.
Awesome. I know why I ask these questions. There's always something interesting that's coming up. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed the conversation. If people watching or listening feel the same and they want to follow you and they want to follow the Chatbase journey along, what's the best place? What's the best place to follow?
I'm super active on X. I tend to write and talk bunch, and share too much probably. Same goes to LinkedIn, but you can also go to Chatbase website. And if you are planning of implementing AI, especially in customer support, I highly, highly recommend checking Chatbase. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me.
We will obviously put all the links in the description. And I mean, since Chatbase has a free plan, at least when we record this,
Yes,
things might change. But
I don't think it will change. We will keep
yeah,
that free plan. It's a good plan.
cool. That's good to hear. So there's also no risk, people, to just check it out. And yeah, to experience some AI magic for customer support. Sandra, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate the conversation. I think there was a lot in it for people to take away. I wish you all the best personally and also for Chatbase, and
Thank
hope to
you.
catch up soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lovely, lovely conversation. I hope we didn't miss something. If we did, maybe we can kind of at least write a blog or article or something like that.
Yeah, you can always talk about more things. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to keep it digestible. Cool. So then, all the best to you and see you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.